Welcome to this edition of Connections. I'm Christy Naus with the Community Foundation, and we are coming to you on a very special day in the life of the Community Foundation. Tonight is our Better Together Bash, and just before that, we have a really special reception here where we're dedicating this mural behind me that we have put together in honor of the Community Foundation's first president, Monroe Colston. I have a very special guest with me today, Monroe's daughter, Marita Colston Davis. And Marita, thank you so much for making the trip to Des Moines.
Absolutely, Christy. I mean, this will always be my home. And thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Well, we wanted to honor your dad in a special way. He did so much for this community and so much for this Community Foundation. He was its first president in 1992. And I was so fortunate to have the opportunity to work with him when I first started at the Community Foundation. My kids got to know him. We still remember him, certainly. Talk about some of your dad's passion for this community and how you remember that.
Yeah, I remember the story. I often wondered, how did my mom and dad get to Des Moines? And they would come down to the Drake Relays. My dad was living in Minneapolis. They went to school at the University of Minnesota. My mom was from Kansas City. And they said every time they came down for the relays, everybody in Des Moines were so friendly and so nice and so warm. And they looked at a map and said, wow, it's about the same distance between our families.
That'd be perfect.
Let's move here. And I think from the minute he got here, the city embraced him. And that was in the 50s, which is very unique to be embraced as an African-American man back then. I just know that he was, a collaborator, a communicator, somebody who believed so much in the passion of the city. And I remember when the first catchphrase was Des Moines, the surprising place. And so when he got to the Des Moines Foundation, he was so committed about bringing communities together and supporting the nonprofit community. And this, out of all the roles he had, this was his absolute favorite.
Oh, I love it. Just today, I was talking to someone about your dad, and this person was an African-American gentleman who came to Des Moines for his first job. He was in his 20s at the time. He's retired now. Your mom and your dad came to the airport to meet him and greet him and welcome him to our community. So it's not just that your parents were embraced. They definitely turned that around and they embraced others, and people remember that. They still talk about it. So you should know that.
I think that's great.
So behind us is the Community Foundation campus, and importantly, the C3 Center. The three C's are about connection, collaboration, and community. Your dad embodied all of that, and I hope that we've done his legacy justice by carrying it on. When you look at the incredible mural that we've commissioned to honor your dad, how do you think that it captures his legacy?
I mean, first of all, I think about the houses, and I think about the fact that we grew up in Urbandale, Iowa, which was a somewhat unique situation as an African-American family. But I had so many great fond memories of Urbandale, and many of my classmates from high school will be here. So it speaks about all the years that I've had. He was so committed to, Iowa and the corn and, all the embracing of the kids playing and making sure that no matter what your ethnicity was, that we were all together. My dad very much always believed that it didn't really matter our differences. It was more about our similarities. And his hands, his hands look so accurate, it's about him embracing the city that he loved so very much.
I love that. Well, I look at it and I see the hands, and I know his fingerprints are all over this city. So I just think it's completely appropriate. Thank you so much for making the trip here. Thank you for sharing your dad with the Community Foundation and this community. We're just so pleased to honor him in this way. I hope that you've enjoyed learning more about Monroe and more about this mural and can see all the ways he's made us better together.